Good morning. I'm busting coke out of it if I stare up my nose like that. That's what I said about Slavoj Zizek one time. I was watching one of Slavoj Zizek's videos and he kept going, and I said, busting lines of coke out of it, is he? And maybe he was. Maybe he was. It's a possibility and probability. I'm not saying he was. It's not an accusation. Anyway, what was I going to talk about this morning? Yeah, I was going to talk about controlling others when you're not able to control yourself. I was going to talk about, I strive to be. I was thinking last night to myself, about where we're going from here. Where are we going from here? Well, I was thinking last night about the whole point of these videos, and what I'm trying to stress in these videos is that everybody think for themselves. And the last thing I want to be, like to say the worst thing for your enemy is the best thing for your enemy is not to be like him. So, like, really, like I am, like the hierarchical systems that are currently in place are my enemy. It's not that I have any great anger towards them or anything like that. It's just like it's destruction and creation is to pull down their system, a double plug effect, pull down their systems and build my own. So that's the point of these videos is to demonstrate the power of philosophy, and that these videos actually work if you actually can look past your judgments in relation to my swearing or in relation to my maybe eccentric behaviour. But you'll actually get some good, deep, profound philosophy, especially if you tie in the memes and the songs. It makes it a lot more easier. But believe me when I tell you that these videos are quite profound. You just have to look a little bit deeper on the surface. But anything that's worth having is you have to work a little bit for it. You have to, like if you read Hegel, it's hysterically written. You have to work for the gems. If you read Nietzsche, you have to work for the gems. They're not children's stories that hit you in the face. You have to work for them. You have to work for them because nothing's handed to you on a fucking plate in this life. Everything, there's no gain without pain. You know what I mean? You have to work for everything. You have to work through. You have to suffer through nature, and you have to suffer through them to find the gems, and then you have to think about them, and you think about them, and not just accept this dogmatic interpretation that's shoved up your ass, because that's not going to progress anything. This is sort of going in a direction I didn't want it to go in, but I wanted to explain something. I was saying this to the American girl, like recently, like your man came here, and he said, "Oh, physics is one of my favorite subjects." So I said, "Oh, maybe I can learn some physics off this man." But the first thing I wanted to do was we had to have a starting point. So I said, well, he said to me, "What do you know about physics?" And I said, "Oh, well, my physics is very basic." And I went on about the 0 point energy and breakdown of the atom and Maillard, the electromagnetic fields and this, that, and the other. And I said, "Well, would you agree with this?" And he said, "I don't know." And I said, "You don't know?" And he says, "No, I don't know." So I said to myself, "What sort of bullshit is this?" And then I went, like I said, "Is this man, am I speaking on my fucking arse? And am I completely ignorant? Like, and is this man just sparing me, like just letting me wallow in my ignorance?" So I went to bed that night, and I tell you the truth, I was nearly going to shake him up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, "What the fuck is your story? What do you mean you don't know? You can't just say you don't know. You have to study the subject, and I have not." So I went back to the bed and I didn't get out of bed. I was saying to my soul, "Are you making a cunt out of me? You know what I mean? Are you making a cunt out of me? Are you writing me a narrative to give to people and giving me videos to look at and narratives and writing, giving me a narrative for me to project when it's absolutely far removed from the truth. It's just a narrative, you know what I mean? But with no substance." And my soldier said to me, like, "Do you believe me or him? Are you believing me or over him?" And I said, No, I've never done that. And I haven't done that with philosophy. I haven't done that with anything. I haven't done that when it came to fixing my hands. I haven't went with that when it came to fixing the tumour in my ass. I haven't chose medicine over my soul, which taught me natural remedies and which remedied the ailments and taught me philosophy which works. Not this bullshit for 109.50 £59 a month where you blow affirmations up your arse, or let's all breathe now. Do we all feel better? Do you know what I mean? It's not this bullshit. It works. It fucking works. Because I get right down to the fucking nitty gritty where everybody else is afraid to go. Anyway, so that was grand. And I said to the man the next day, I said to myself, right, let's get to the bottom of this. You have studied the subject, I have not. You have went to your university or whatever it is and have a degree in electronic engineering. I said, of which physics was one of your favourite subjects. I said, why are you giving me this I don't know bullshit? And he said, well, first of all, he said, I've never heard of 0 point energy. Yes, I'm aware of it now. You've made me aware of it. And I've looked it up and all the rest. He said, yes, you've explained what it is, a culmination of the 4 fundamental forces. He said, but this is quantum physics. I said, your breakdown of the atom and the electromagnetic physics, this is quantum physics. He said, these are possibilities and probabilities, but they haven't been proven. And I said, they haven't been proven. I said, now I see what the problem is. I see exactly what the problem is. I said, the problem is, that your physics is dated. It's like the philosophy. It's just a dogmatic interpretation which hasn't been updated for years. Because if I even have one theory, it takes 9 to 11 years to prove that using maths. But of course, the maths that you use to prove this is only as good as the variables that you begin with, which you can only use logic. So the logic, the maths, the conclusions from the maths can only be as good as the logic that you begin with, which makes logic and art a higher form of abstraction. Now, oh yeah, but that is art. Now, the American girl said visions, but this is art. That's art. That's art. That's a picture paints 1,000 words, a video paints even more. This is art. As far as I'm concerned, this is art. Your dreams are well, okay, thought is truth. But this is what I was trying to explain to her, thought is truth. But this is what I was trying to explain to her. That he said that this is quantum physics. But my point is, that I was trying to make to him, is can you just even begin to understand how much this requirement for proof is holding you back? While meanwhile people are saying, fuck you on your proof, fuck you on your academic hierarchies, and fuck you on your social structures. We're pushing on, we're moving on, and you can take your proof and fuck off. Because as I said to him, why should I provide you with a body of evidence in order to substantiate what I'm saying? I said, go and do your own fucking homework. I said, but I don't need you to believe me that fucking bad, or validate what I'm saying that bad, that I'm going to provide you with a body of evidence to support everything I say. Do you understand? It's subject to reason, and everything is subject to reason. This is what creates our reality. It's subject to reason. Now, my physics is basic as far as I'm concerned, but it's still subject to reason. And it has yet to be refuted. And I've put it to several physics what do you call them? What would you call them? Experts, authorities on the subject. Except one fellow who studied it. He said, oh, everything is not energy. And I very quickly, I was, no way I was letting that one go. Everything is energy. E equals mc squared. That much I'm sure of. Like, that's easy. That's an easy one to break down. Anyway, as I was explaining to him, that people are using quantum physics and quantum computing, but the ignorant people don't understand shit, and they're stuck in their fucking in their closed cognitions. So, for example, I was saying to him, do you see this phone? See this phone? This phone supports consciousness. But of course, we'd first have to agree on what consciousness is. So I say 0 point energy and consciousness are one and the same. But basically, the phone does the very same thing as your brain. It takes messages from the electromagnetic spectrum and translates them into images and sounds to which we can conceptualize. Like, as you have an image of me talking, even though I'm sitting here in Bulgaria, you have an image of me talking, and you can understand some of you can understand what I'm saying. But do you know what I'm saying? So it takes. This is telepathy. That's effectively what this is. Now, if we reach a high enough stage, well, I am already at that stage. As Mr. Nature said to me, if you want me, you don't need a phone. And I said, yeah. Yeah, back on, mate. We don't need a phone. If you pick somebody who vibes at the same frequency as me, we don't need a phone. We don't need a phone. Uh, there was another little one as well. I used to call it voodoo magic. But you don't need a phone. You don't need a phone. You can feel people like. You don't even need a phone. But anyway, that's outside the parameters of your cognition. But so I was saying that this is thought. If you understand that everything is mind. Now everything is mind because the electromagnetic spectrum and the four fundamental forces permeate everything. Now that doesn't mean everything is conscious, because conscious is another thing. Conscious is the ability to actually, like, a plant is conscious because it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It grows. It's alive. Uh, it will strive towards the light. It has its own requirements for life. And if those requirements aren't met, it dies. It's the same as us. Very same as our body. If the requirements aren't met, it dies. But what I was saying was that if you can understand my concept of mind, everything is thought. Everything is thought. So every conceptual experience is thought. Now, and then if you can relate this to the phone. Now, I wanted to say something about this, but we may leave it till tomorrow. But then that's why certain people, when they reach a certain level of consciousness, all souls, they don't have any smartphone and they don't want to engage in the phone. And they don't want to engage in the phone because they have enough going on in their head that they're trying to process, and they have to first learn how to reject, refute and refuse the thoughts in their head before they can handle any more on the phone. Extreme and true, for example, Facebook or even anything else. Even though I block and delete different things on my phone, the same as my brain, they stay popping up and challenging my insecurities. Now, I don't have any insecurities, and that's where I wanted to go with this. I wanted to show you a meme that challenges my insecurities. But I wanted to explain this first. But it challenges my insecurities because this is like an extension of my brain. But most of it I just laugh at. But I face the insecurities. I don't distract myself from them. I don't block and delete them. Now this includes fucking people. I don't block them. I don't shirk from them. I deal with the subject. And that's what I had to do the other day. I had to sit down and write about several things. I sit down and say, right, let's fucking talk about this. And I write about it, and I ask the questions, like, what's your fucking issue? And then I get the answer. And we talk about it, and we resolve it. People who can't communicate, it results in anger, it results in a breakdown of communication. But I have no problem communicating. I sit down and say, right, let's fucking talk about this. And the same then, it pushes several things to me. Now, I was going to tell you about one insecurity, because the whole point of this video, the whole point I wanted to say in this video, is I never try to change anybody. I accept them as they are. But I can also make a choice on whether to take them or leave them. This is my choice. But I never try to change anybody. And because I've learned this a long time ago, the universe used to say to me, you can't save anybody. And I don't try to save anybody. I accept them as they are. Now, I used to hang around with a lot of beautiful and good-looking women. And I never tried to change them. But yes, I accepted them as they were, and they were crazy in a lot of ways, but this made them very enjoyable company, very unique. And if you try to control them and you try to change them, it's like picking a flower. That spoils them, it ruins them. And the same applies to me, and I have this experience. And if I by not choosing any particular one of them and say, yes, we're going out, then they had to learn to tolerate each other because I found that if you choose one, you say, yeah, we're going out, the first thing she do is she want to get rid of all the others. And this is to accommodate her own insecurities but this ruins you, because then she just goes to completely destroy you. She just stays imposing sanctions on you. You can't wear that, you can't go there. Where are you? This phone becomes like a beeper and completely enslaves you and cages you, and this fucking ruins you. And I didn't do that to them, and they didn't get to do that to me. And you know what? That was great. That was really fucking great. But the point I'm trying to make is I never tried to change them. I accepted them as they were, and then you can accept whether to take them or leave them. Now, the other problem with that is love is blind and friendship closes its eyes. That's Nietzsche. Love is blind and friendship closes its eyes. But on hindsight, that didn't apply to the women, that applied to the men. And that's why I'm only interested in working with women now. That applied to the men. Love is blind and friendship closes its eyes. Yeah, good morning.